Welcome to the weekly video podcast for the new PBS series Design E Squared. This exclusive online program will take you beyond the episode you just watched and deeper into the world of sustainable design. Green for all.
I tell my students the responsibility of an architect is to be inclusive, to include all things about this world, and that means all communities. The whole region from 35, which divides the city east to west, all the way to the airport, is an area which is predominantly Hispanic and African American. And it's a community that earns a fraction of the income of the other side of the tracks. This is an immediate issue here that has a lot of parallels with Mexico. Here's a community that's marginalized. One of the things that has working for it is that they have this ground that they consider their own, but which is potentially going to be lost to economic development and higher taxes. So can we do anything to maintain them here?
Sergio Palleroni teaches young designers to interact with the communities they're building for. Here, Palleroni advises his students after their housing plans were poorly received by local residents.
The future, the vision of the future you guys have, the community bought into. So that's good. The thing that's in doubt is, do those houses belong in their neighborhood? And so we have a campaign, both publicity campaign, but also one of kind of getting in touch with the community and figuring out what is it about that they don't like. We got to be part of the visionaries that make the connection between ecological housing and sustaining their culture and their place in that community. But you made the mistake of introducing a gable form without putting it really in context. It looks like it fell out of Mars.
It did fall out of Mars.
No, but I'm just saying, you see, that can actually undermine your kind of salesmanship because, it doesn't look like, so the things that they immediately were taken by were images like that. Right? I mean, this looks like there, and it has people, and it's rich in texture, and has color, and the interesting thing about it is people always, even though they make judgments on how a house looks, it's really about, that they associate certain house forms with certain kinds of living. Don't start by saying, "Oh, what's wrong with this house?" It's better to just start out and saying, "So tell me something about your everyday life." What do you do? How do you live? How do you know? What happens in your day? We'll bring in the drawings from last year, and all the community. When I went down to present right before we went down, and we presented these drawings that we did last year. Students were doing some kind of radical changes from what they were used to, but people loved the fact that they had these guys hanging out, these Mexicans hanging out in the courtyard, and the women were making tortillas, and it was their world. So they like the gardens, huh?
Yeah, I heard Mr. Limon commenting on the garden, saying if someone would just put it in there, the old women would love to keep it up. They would love to do the maintenance, be happy too.
I think keeping those gardens in front of them is really important. Because I remember I saw Mr. Limon look at whoever had the house, had put their garden in front of the existing house. Not that one, but there's another image around here. Oh, that image over there. Like, he loved that. The fact of that garden in front of that image is like, to him, he said, "I want that house. That's nicer than my house." And I said, "What kind of house do you live in?" And he lived in a big house and everything. He said, "So why do you like it better?" And he said, "Oh, but look at that garden. I want that garden." That was really great. We only teach them half the process in my mind. We only teach them about what happens here on the table. And we teach them very well, I think, about the creative process. What we don't teach them is, how do you make that creative process valued in the community? How do you take that creative process out on the street and engage the real problems of the world?
Next time on Design E Squared.
All the green buildings in the world aren't going to amount to a hill of beans unless we adopt a green way of life.
Sustainability is really about doing things better than we have before.
Well, I always believe that nature can coexist with an urban community like ours.
You know, the joke was that he was kind of Martha Stewart in the mayor's office, but he evolved.
For more information and to subscribe to our other podcasts, visit us online at design-e2.com.